Welcome to second year BSc fourth semester statistics students. This is KVR Narasimha, lecturer in statistics, Sri Venkateswara College of Arts and Science, Amalapuram, East Godavari district, affiliated to Adikavi Nana University, Rajahmundry. Today I will explain certain problems on efficiency and sufficiency, because in the previous lesson, that is lesson number 7 of unit 1 estimation of your 4th semester statistics paper, inference theory, I have already completed 7 lessons on this unit. This is the 8th lesson. In this lesson I will explain certain problems on efficiency and sufficiency. Before going to today's class, we will review what we have learned earlier. In the previous lessons, we have learned about the problems on consistency and problems on unbiasedness. So what is meant by unbiasedness? Expectation of a statistic is same as parameter, then the statistic is said to be unbiased estimator for the parameter data. If expectation T not equal to data, then T is said to be not an unbiased estimator for the parameter theta. So now, and this unbiasedness is restricted to finite sample size small n. Now this unbiasedness is not applicable for infinitely large. That's why for infinitely large sample size there is another property which is called consistency. It is not only for consistency. If an estimator is consistent, then it is also said to be unbiased. That is, the necessary and sufficient condition for the consistency of an estimator is expectation Tn is equal to theta, variance Tn is equal to 0 as n tends to infinity. Then Tn is said to be a consistent estimator for the parameter data for a sequence of estimators Tn. That means an estimator is said to be consistent and it must be unbiased. Now today I will explain regarding the efficiency and sufficiency. What is meant by efficiency? Efficiency means the reciprocal of variance of an estimator is called its efficiency. That is, efficiency of an estimator is E is equal to 1 by variance. Suppose if there are two estimators are there, then how can you identify which estimator is more efficient? Then the more efficient can be determined by relative efficiency. That is, relative efficiency also E is equal to variance of the first estimator by variance of the second estimator. If this value is 1, then both estimators are equally efficient. If this value is less than 1, then the estimator whose variance in the denominator is more efficient. And if it is greater than 1, the estimator, it is less than 1, then the numerator is more efficient. If it is greater than 1, then the estimator which is in the denominator is more efficient. Suppose if there are so many estimators are there, then how can you identify which estimator is most efficient? That is, in a class of consistent estimator, which estimator has the least variance is called the most efficient estimator in that class. Least estimator. Next one is sufficiency. The sufficiency of an estimator can be defined in two ways. What is meant by sufficiency? The amount the estimator, which estimator gives complete information regarding the parameters of the population, is called sufficiency. Mathematically, the conditional probability of sample observations given statistic is independent of the parameter theta, then the statistic is sufficient for the parameter theta. That is probability of x1, x2, etc., xi, etc., xn given statistic t is equal to small t, capital T is equal to small t is independent of theta, then the statistic t is sufficient for the parameter theta. This is one type of definition. This sufficiency can also be defined by using the likelihood function. What is meant by likelihood function? Likelihood function is the product of the probability functions obtained by choosing samples of the population for estimating a parameter theta is called a likelihood function. That L is equal to pi I is equal to 1 to n, P of xi comma theta for x is discrete, pi I is equal to 1 to n, f of xi comma theta when x is continuous. That is the likelihood function. The likelihood function, if the likelihood function of the sample observation can be expressed as a product of two functions, because likelihood function is a product of n functions when taking the sample size n. If any number of functions in L, we can express the L into only two functions. The first function having only sample observations and the second function having statistics and the parameters. Then the statistics are sufficient estimator for the corresponding parameters in order. That is, L is equal to pi I is equal to 1 to n h of x1, x2, etc. xn into g of t comma theta. Then t is sufficient for the parameter theta. That is the regarding the sufficiency. Now today I will explain the problems based on these two properties. That is, one is efficiency, another is sufficiency. The first problem is for n mu sigma square. For n mu sigma square, find the variance of sample mean, comma variance of sample median. Hence find whether sample mean or sample median is more efficient, and also find the relative efficiency of sample mean over sample median. In this problem, normal population is taken. What is the basic property of normal distribution? Normal distribution observations are independent with the mean mu, variance sigma square. That is the normal population. Now we have to choose a sample from this normal population. That means every sample observation having same mean mu, variance sigma square. Now what is sample mean? X bar is equal to 1 by small n, sigma I equal to 1 to n xi. What is sample median? When arranging the sample observations in order, then the observation which is at the middle of the data is median. It is generally denoted by MD. Now we go to solve the problem. Let X be a normal population with the mean mu, variance sigma square. That is, X follows n mu sigma square. Let x1, x2, etc., xi, etc., xn be a random sample of size n taken from the above normal population. That is, every sample observation xi follows normal distribution, the same normal distribution. That is, xi follows n, capital N, within brackets, mu comma sigma square. That is, expectation xi is equal to mu, variance xi is equal to sigma square for all I equal to 1 to n. Now, sample mean x bar is equal to 1 by n, sigma I equal to 1 to n xi. sample median is say MD. Now variance of Xi is equal to variance of 1 by n sigma I equal to 1 to n Xi is equal to 1 by n square into, because variance Cx is equal to C square into 1 by n square into variance of sigma I equal to 1 to n Xi is equal to 1 by n square into summation sigma I equal to 1 to n variance Xi is equal to 1 by n square into sigma square is equal to 1 by n square into small n sigma square is equal to sigma square by n. So what is variance x bar? Variance x bar is equal to sigma square by n. Variance x bar is equal to sigma square by n. Now variance of MD. What is variance of median? 1 by 4n f1 square. 1 by 4n f1 square. What is n? Sample size. What is f1? Median ordinate of the function. What is median for normal distribution? Median is equal to mode. What is mode? Mode is equal to 1 f of x at x is equal to mu. Therefore, f1 is equal to, what is the probability function of normal distribution? 1 by square root 2 pi sigma into e power minus 1 by 2 into x minus mu by sigma whole square. In place of x we have to substitute mu. That's why f1 is equal to 1 by root 2 pi sigma into e power minus 1 by 2 into mu minus mu by sigma whole square. This implies 1 by root 2 pi sigma e power minus 1 by 2 into 0. Hence, minus 1 by root 2 pi sigma. 1 by root 2 pi sigma, that is f1. Now variance of MD is equal to 1 by 4n into 1 by root 2 pi sigma whole square is equal to 2 pi sigma square by 4n is equal to pi by 2 sigma square by n. Pi by 2 sigma square by n is variance of median. What is variance of sample mean? Variance of sample mean is sigma square by n. What is variance of MD? Pi by 2 sigma square by n. What is the value of pi by 2? Pi by 2 is equal to 1.57 because 22 by 7. 22 by 7 is equal to 1.57. That is variance of MD. Variance of x bar is 1 sigma square by n. Variance of MD is 1.57. So variance of MD is greater than variance of mean. Therefore, variance of x bar is less than variance of MD. So therefore, sample mean is more efficient than sample median. Variance of sample mean is more efficient than sample median. Now we want to find the relative efficiency. Relative efficiency E is equal to variance of x bar by variance of MD. Variance of x bar by variance of MD. What is variance of x bar? Sigma square by n. What is variance of MD? Pi by 2 sigma square by n is equal to 2 by pi is equal to 14 by 22 is equal to 0.63. Therefore, relative efficiency of sample mean over sample median is 0.63. That means sample mean is 63% more efficient than sample median. Sample mean is 63% much efficient than sample median. This is the problem. Now I will explain the problem in Telugu. Now I will explain this problem in Telugu medium. ఇక్కడ ఈ ప్రాబ్లంలో ఏంటంటే n mu sigma square అనేటువంటి నార్మల్ పాపులేషన్ నుంచి ఒక శాంపుల్ తీసినప్పుడు ఆ శాంపుల్కి మీడియన్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసి ఆ శాంపుల్ మీన్కి వేరియన్స్ కట్టండి, ఆ శాంపుల్ మీడియన్కి వేరియన్స్ కట్టండి, కట్టి రెండింటిలో ఏది తక్కువ వచ్చిందో చూడండి, అదే ఆ రెండింటిలోని మోర్ ఎఫిషియెంట్ ఎస్టిమేటర్ అవుతాయి. అలాంటి మోర్ ఎఫిషియెంట్ ఎస్టిమేటర్ అయిన తర్వాత రిలేటివ్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ ఎంతో కూడా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయండి అని ప్రాబ్లం అడిగాడు. నార్మల్ పాపులేషన్ నుంచి శాంపుల్ తీసాం. నార్మల్ పాపులేషన్ శాంపుల్ తీస్తే ప్రతి శాంపుల్ అబ్జర్వేషన్ కూడా అదే నార్మల్ పాపులేషన్ ప్రాపర్టీస్ ఉంటాయి. అంటే ఈచ్ xi ఫాలోస్ n mu sigma square అవుతుంది. అంటే ఎక్స్పెక్టేషన్ xi కూడా మ్యూ అవుతుంది, వేరియన్స్ xi కూడా సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ అవుతుంది. శాంపుల్ మీన్ ఏంటి? ఎక్స్ బార్కి వేరియన్స్ క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేయాలి. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ చాలా ప్రాబ్లమ్స్లో క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేసాం. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ ఎంత? సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై n. తర్వాత వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ మీడియన్. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ మీడియన్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఇంతకుముందు కూడా చెప్పాను, ఇంతకుముందు క్లాసుల్లో ఐ థింక్ 7th లెసన్లో చెప్పినట్టున్నాను. సేమ్ యూనిట్లో వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 1/4n f1² కాషీ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్లో శాంపుల్ మీను కన్సిస్టెంట్ కాదు, శాంపుల్ మీడియనే కన్సిస్టెంట్ అని చెప్పేటటువంటి ప్రాబ్లం చెప్పాము. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 1/4n f1². సో f1 అంటే ఏంటి? మీడియన్ ఆర్డినెంట్. మీడియన్ అంటే నార్మల్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్కి మీడియన్ అన్నా మోడ్ అన్నా ఒకటే. సో అంచేత మోడ్ అంటే ఏంటి? ఎఫ్ఎక్స్లో ఎక్స్ ఉన్న చోట మ్యూ రాస్తే వచ్చేటువంటిది. సో 1/√2π సిగ్మా ఇంటూ e⁻−1/2 ఇంటూ x మైనస్ మ్యూ బై సిగ్మా లో ఎక్స్ ఉన్న చోట మ్యూ రాయాలి. అంటే మ్యూ మైనస్ మ్యూ బై సిగ్మా. మ్యూ మైనస్ మ్యూ అంటే 0, అంటే e⁻−0 ఇంటూ e⁻0 అంటే 1 అయింది అక్కడ. అంటే f1 = 1/√2π వచ్చింది. అప్పుడు f1² ఏమవుతుంది? 1/2π సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్. దీన్ని తీసుకొచ్చి 1/4n f1² f1 అన్న చోట సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే మనకి ఎంత? π/2 సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ వచ్చింది. π/2 సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్. అంటే వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ ఏమో 1 సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై n, వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి ఏమో π/2 సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై. π/2 అంటే 22/7/2 అంటే 22/14 అంటే 22/14 అంటే 1.57 అంటే వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి 1.5 టైమ్స్ వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ అనమాట. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ ఎంత వచ్చింది? సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై n వచ్చింది. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి ఎంత వచ్చింది? 1.6 టైమ్స్ రఫ్గా 1.6 టైమ్స్ శాంపుల్ వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ శాంపుల్ మీన్. సో శాంపుల్ మీన్ ఈజ్ మోర్ ఎఫిషియంట్ దాన్ శాంపుల్ మీడియన్. మరి రిలేటివ్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ ఎలా క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తాం? రిలేటివ్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ బై వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి అని. అది క్యాలిక్యులేట్ చేస్తే 0.63. వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ శాంపుల్ మీన్ ఈజ్ వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ శాంపుల్ మీన్ ఓవర్ శాంపుల్ మీడియన్. దట్ ఈస్ రిలేటివ్ ఎఫిషియన్సీ ఆఫ్ శాంపుల్ మీన్ ఓవర్ శాంపుల్ మీడియన్ ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్ బార్ బై వేరియన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎండి ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై n బై π/2 సిగ్మా స్క్వేర్ బై n ఈజ్ ఈక్వల్ టు 0.63. దట్ మీన్స్ అంటే అర్థం ఏంటి? శాంపుల్ మీన్ అనేటువంటిది శాంపుల్ మీడియన్ కంటే నార్మల్ డిస్ట్రిబ్యూషన్లో 63% ఎక్కువ ఎఫిషియెంట్గా ఉంటుంది. అది ఇక్కడ ఉండేటువంటిది. నెక్స్ట్ ఏంటంటే నెక్స్ట్ ప్రాబ్లం ఏంటంటే ఇఫ్ x1 x2 ఎక్సెట్రా x1 x2 x3 x4 x5 be a sample of size 5 taken from a normal population with the mean mu variance sigma square. And define statistics T1 is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5. T2 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus 2x3. T3 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 minus x5. Now verify which of the T1, T2, T3 are unbiased and which of them is consistent and which of them is more efficient are to be tested. In this case, problem is not viewed in the video, hence note down the problem. If x1, small x1, small x2, small x3, small x4 and small x5 be a random sample of size 5 taken from a normal population capital N within brackets mu comma sigma square bracket closed, and define statistics T1 is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5. Once again, T1 is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 whole by 5. T2 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3. T3 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 minus x5 whole by 5. Then verify T1, T2, T3 are unbiased for mu or not. That is first question. Second question. Identify whether T1, T2, T3 which is most efficient estimator. Now solving the problem solution. If x1, x2, x3, x4, x5 and x5 is taken from a normal population with mean mu, variance sigma square. That is, xi follows n mu sigma square for all I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That is, expectation xi is equal to mu, variance xi is equal to sigma square for all I is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. T1 is equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5. T2 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3. T3 is equal to x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 minus x5 by 5. First question. Now first of all we will verify T1, T2, T3. How to identify which of them is unbiased? Expectation of statistic is parameter or not. Expectation of T1 is equal to expectation of x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5 is equal to 1 by 5 into expectation x1 plus expectation x2 plus expectation x3 plus expectation x4 plus expectation x5 is equal to 1 by 5 into mu plus mu plus mu plus mu plus mu, because xi expectation xi is equal to mu for I is equal to 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Therefore expectation T1 is equal to 1 by 5 into 5 mu is equal to mu. Therefore expectation T1 is equal to mu. Therefore T1 is an unbiased estimator for the parameter mu. Now we will verify whether T2 is unbiased or not. Expectation T2 is equal to expectation of, within brackets, x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3. Expectation T2 is equal to expectation of x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3 implies 1 by 3 into expectation x1 plus 2 by 3 into expectation x2 plus expectation x3 implies 1 by 3 into mu plus 2 mu plus 3 mu is equal to 2 mu. Expectation T2 is equal to 2 mu, not equal to mu. Expectation T2 is 2 mu. Therefore, T2 is not unbiased but positively biased because expectation T2 greater than mu. Because expectation T2 is equal to 2 mu. Therefore, T2 is not unbiased. Now, expectation T3. What is T3? x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 minus x5 by 5. Now, expectation T3 is equal to 1 by 5 into expectation of x1 plus 2 into expectation x2 plus 3 into expectation x3 minus expectation x4 minus expectation x5 is equal to 1 by 5 into mu plus 2 mu plus 3 mu minus mu minus mu. 6 mu minus 2 mu. Expectation T3 is equal to 4 by 5 mu is equal to 0.8 mu, not equal to mu. Therefore, T3 is also not unbiased, but it is less than, that is negatively biased for the parameter theta. So, among T1, T2, T3, only T1 is unbiased. Now, we will verify whether T1, T2, T3, which is more efficient. Variance of T1 is equal to variance of 1 by 5 into x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus x4 plus x5 by 5 is equal to 1 by 25 into variance x1 plus variance x2 plus variance x3 plus variance x4 plus variance x5 is equal to 1 by 25 into 5 sigma square is equal to sigma square by 5 is equal to 0.2 sigma square. Now, variance T2 is equal to variance of x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3. Variance of T2 is equal to variance of x1 plus 2x2 by 3 plus x3 is equal to 1 by 9 into variance x1 plus 4 into variance x2 plus, we have to close the bracket after variance of x2 plus variance x3 is equal to 1 by 9 into sigma square plus 4 sigma square plus sigma square is equal to 5 by 9 sigma square plus sigma square. 14 by 9 sigma square. 14 by 9 sigma square is variance of T2. Variance of T1 is equal to 0.2 sigma square. Variance of T2 is equal to 14 by 9 is equal to 0. Sorry, not 0. 1 point something, sir. 1.5. 1.5 sigma square. Now variance T3 is equal to variance of x1 plus 2x2 plus 3x3 minus x4 minus x5 by 5 is equal to 1 by 25 into variance x1 plus 4 into variance x2 plus 9 into variance x3 minus plus variance x4 plus variance x5 is equal to 1 by 25 into sigma square plus 4 sigma square plus 9 sigma square plus sigma square plus sigma square. 16 by 25 sigma square. 16 by 25 sigma square is equal to 4 by 5. So no. 0.6 sigma square, like that. Variance of T1 is equal to 0.2 sigma square. Variance of T2 is equal to 1.5 sigma square. Variance T3 is equal to 0.6 sigma square. Among these variance 0.2 sigma square is less. Therefore, T1 is more efficient than T2. T1 is the most efficient estimator in the class of consistent estimator. Now we will go to another problem. If x1, x2, x3 by a random, please note this problem also, because that problem is also not in video. That's why once note the problem. If x1, x2, x3 by a random sample of size 3 taken from normal population with the mean mu, variance sigma square, and define a statistic T is equal to x1 plus lambda x2 plus x3 whole by 3 is unbiased for mu. Find lambda. So x1, x2, x, the solution x1, x2, x3 by a random sample of size 3 taken from n mu sigma square. That is xi follows n mu sigma square. That is expectation xi is equal to mu, variance xi is equal to sigma square. Now by hypothesis T is equal to x1 plus lambda x2 plus x3 by 3. Expectation T is equal to expectation of x1 plus lambda x2 plus x3 by 3. But according to hypothesis, T is unbiased for mu. That is expectation T is equal to mu. Therefore, expectation of x1 plus lambda x2 plus x3 by 3 is equal to mu. Implies 1 by 3 into expectation x1 plus lambda into expectation x2 plus expectation x3 is equal to mu. This implies 2 mu plus lambda mu is equal to 3 mu. Implies lambda mu is equal to 3 mu minus 2 mu. Implies lambda mu is equal to mu. Implies lambda is equal to 1. Therefore, for lambda is equal to 1, T is unbiased for mu. Now another problem that is viewed on video also. The problem is, if x1, x2, x3, x4, etc., xn be a random sample of size n taken from Poisson population, then show that sigma I equal to 1 to n xi is sufficient statistic for lambda. Once again, if x1, x2, etc., xn be a random sample of size n taken from a Poisson population, then show that sigma I equal to 1 to n xi is sufficient. Now this problem is on last property of criteria for good estimator, that is sufficiency. Then now sigma xi is sufficient for the statistic mu. Solution. What is the main property of Poisson distribution? Having only one parameter, having mean mu, variance also, mean lambda, variance lambda, mu3 lambda, it is same as the parameter. That is, if x1, x2, etc., xi, etc., xn be a random sample of size n taken from p lambda, implies xi follows p lambda. This implies expectation xi is equal to lambda, variance xi is equal to lambda for all I is equal to 1 to n. Sigma xi is equal to 1 to n is nothing but sum of the sample observations. Sigma I equal to 1 to n xi is, say, statistics, say t. Now let t is equal to some k. Now, according to the first definition of sufficiency, probability of sample observation given statistic, that is probability of x1, x2, etc., xi, etc., xn given t is equal to k is equal to p of x1 intersection, x2 intersection, etc., intersection xn, intersection t is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n is equal to k by p of capital T is equal to sigma xi is equal to 1 to n. Because of p of a given b is equal to p of a intersection b by p of b. What is a? x1 intersection, x2 intersection, etc., intersection xn. What is b? Sigma xi is equal to k. So that's why p of x1, x2, etc., xn given t is equal to p of x1 intersection, x2 intersection, etc., intersection xn, intersection sigma xi by p of t is equal to sigma xi is equal to px1 because of sample observations are independent. Then the joint probability function can be expressed as product of individual functions. That's why px1 into px2 into etc. pxn by p of t is equal to sigma xi. Px1 is equal to e power minus lambda into lambda power x1 by x1 factorial. Px2 is equal to e power minus lambda into lambda power x2 by x2 factorial, etc., etc. E power minus lambda into lambda power xn by xn factorial whole by p of sigma xi is equal to some k. We know from the first year's second semester, that is the distribution theory, the sum of Poisson variates is again a Poisson variate. Therefore, if xi is Poisson, x1 is Poisson, x2 is Poisson, then x1 plus x2 is Poisson. But x1 minus x2 need not be Poisson. Therefore, if x1, x2, etc., xi, etc., xn are Poisson variates, then sigma xi also Poisson variate with parameters, sum of the parameters. That's why e power minus n lambda, because of lambda plus lambda plus lambda, is the parameter of the sum of the Poisson variates. What is the parameter of one Poisson variate xi is parameter with lambda, x2 having parameter lambda, xn having parameter lambda. Therefore, sigma xi having parameter n lambda. That's why e power minus n lambda into lambda power sigma I equal to 1 to n xi is equal to k by sigma xi factorial. Once again, the conditional probability is equal to e power minus lambda into lambda power x1 by x1 factorial into e power minus lambda into lambda power x2 by x2 factorial into etc. e power minus lambda into lambda power xn by xn factorial whole by e power minus n lambda into lambda power sigma xi, I is equal to 1 to n is equal to k by sigma xi factorial is equal to e power minus n lambda into lambda power sigma xi by x1 factorial into x2 factorial into etc. xn factorial into sigma xi factorial by e power minus n lambda into lambda power sigma xi. E power minus lambda into lambda power sigma xi cancel is equal to sigma xi factorial by x1 factorial into x2 factorial into etc. xn factorial. So the result does not having any lambda. So the conditional probability of x1, x2, etc. xn given statistic t is equal to sigma xi is independent of the parameter lambda. Therefore, t is equal to sigma xi is sufficient for the lambda parameter lambda. Now we go to another problem. If xy be a be a random sample taken from a Poisson population, then x plus y is a sufficient statistic for the parameter lambda. Similar problem. A previous problem, n variates are taken, n sample observations are taken. In this case, only 2 sample observations are taken. Only x comma y are the sample observations. Now, x follows p lambda, y follows p lambda. X plus y also follows p2 lambda because x plus y is sum of 2 Poisson variates. T is equal to x plus y is equal to sum k. Now, the conditional probability of x1, x2, etc. that is x comma y given x plus y is equal to k is equal to p of x intersection y intersection x plus y is equal to k by p of x plus y is equal to k is equal to px into py by p of x plus y is equal to k. What is px? E power minus lambda into lambda power x by x factorial. What is py? E power minus lambda into lambda power y by y factorial whole by. What is x plus y is equal to k? X plus y is equal to say z. That is p of z equal to 2. That is e power minus 2 lambda into lambda power x plus y, that is z by is equal to k, sir, not z. X plus y is equal to k. Lambda power k by k factorial is equal to lambda power x plus y by x factorial into y factorial into k factorial by lambda power k. What is k? K is equal to x plus y. Cancelling lambda power x plus y and lambda power x plus y. We get k factorial by x factorial into y factorial. It is independent of lambda. Therefore, x plus y is sufficient statistic for the parameter theta. So, my dear students, I have completed 7th lesson of Unit 1 Estimation Theory of your second year 4th semester Statistics paper Inference Theory. So far we have completed estimation theory. This estimation theory mainly consisting of criteria for good estimator and the problems based on criteria for good estimator. And we have discussed problems based on these 4 criteria. Now we will meet in the lesson number 8, that is methods of estimation. Lesson number 8 of the same unit, one of your second year paper on today.